Welcome to the first episode of the Try Attack podcast. My name is Pancake and I'm the host for episode number 1. This is the first podcast on the channel. Today I am joined with West and Salty, who will be my running co-host. Every single month we'll be going back and forth depending on who wants to be the host that month, who wants to bring questions, who wants to bring topics. That is how this is going to go. Today we are not only talking about the creation of Try Attack, but the launch of the Switch 2, as well as the future of Game Freak and Pokemon. So if you're excited, make sure you sub to the channel and also hit the like button. And if you missed the Pokemon episode that went up yesterday, go check that out too. All right, I'm here with Salty and West. Hi, boys. How you doing? Go ahead.
I'm good. I'm great. I'm fantastic.
We're in the podcast.
We're in the podcast.
Oh, okay.
People need to know that this is going to be super duper high energy. So that's how we start 90% of our recording sessions. So that's how we're going to start today too.
This is true. Our recording sessions are very just like, we just kind of randomly get into it whenever we're feeling it. Right. So
if this is like the first thing you're seeing by us, because this isn't what we normally do. My name is Pancake. I am here with Salty and West as well. And we have come together to create a channel called Try Attack. We've been making content together now for like 2 or 3 years at this point. Longer for you guys, not as long for me.
No.
How long have you guys been? You guys have been like, well, at least 2020,
Much
2021.
longer, right? Just like a year longer.
I feel like no, me and you were like 2 years long.
2 years.
It'll be like 4 years.
Okay, well, actually, what we talked about this in the Nuzlocke episode that went up yesterday, which was when did Switch release? Not Switch. Sword and Shield.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Sword and Shield released.
And we remember that because we just looked it up the other day.
Yeah.
2019.
Yeah, 2019.
Sword and Shield released November of 2019. I think me and West had started Did we start a Soul Link prior to IBA?
Yeah. So we, I messaged you wanting to join IBA. We got all that going, and then you messaged me and was like, "Hey, you want to do a Soul Link?" I was like, "Yeah, let's do it."
And for context, IBA was a draft league that I created back in the day when Sword and Shield was getting released. I really wanted to start a draft league with small YouTubers because I was a very small YouTuber at the time. I had just started doing content. I think I had 5 subscribers to my name and 3 of them were me. So I put a post out on Twitter. And I'd been communicating with a couple different Poketubers on Twitter already, and I put a post out on Twitter, and Wes was one of the first people that saw it and liked it, and me and him started talking in DMs, and that's how me and West became friends, and that's how we started doing content together. And Wes was the first person I did collaborative content with on YouTube.
Yeah,
wasn't actually supposed to be Wes though.
Oh, really?
West was not supposed to be my first. Doki was supposed to be my first.
Oh, not me. You're dropping names right now. You're dropping names. So for context, there's a lot of people that we might end up talking about during this podcast, and a lot of those people might end up actually being guests that we bring on. So this podcast isn't going to always just be the 3 of us. We have plans to bring on people like our friend Roki, who used to be a part of our group very consistently. My friend Noah, who came to AWA with us, and a bunch of people that we used to make content with that we no longer do, whether they stop making content or they make different content now than what we do. But this is kind of a place for us to include those people without having to do a whole series with people who don't want to do series anymore, but still kind of want to do stuff with us. So we figured this would be a great place for that.
Yeah.
Speaking of Noah, I'm going to go subscribe to him because I forgot to do that the other day.
Yeah, just put it right in the podcast. 100%. Yeah, everybody go subscribe to Lost with Hope.
Yeah.
He just started his YouTube channel. Just like kind of what we're doing now with this rebrand. If you haven't subbed here either, make sure you subscribe. Again, there's going to be podcasts here once a month. The second Sunday of every month, we're going to have a podcast up on this channel talking about literally anything we want to talk about, but most of the time it'll probably be Pokemon. And also we have 2 Pokemon videos that go up every single week, Wednesdays and Saturdays. So let's get back to the story. So I jumped into this group after the initial beginning of it. I actually had a channel back whenever like Salty and West were talking, like, and I made Pokemon content too. I had a whole Let's Play of Pokemon like Shield, and I had a bunch of stuff up on YouTube, but I like hadn't got like any real traction. And then like one day I was just like, we were all stuck at home, and I was like, I'm gonna make something for TikTok, because I had found Purple Cliff, and I was like, these look super fun. I need to practice editing and doing X, Y, and Z anyways, and I'm already doing Pokemon content, so I said, screw it, why not? And so I started making these videos, and that like propelled me into this group at like supersonic speeds, because I remember I had hit 1,000 followers on TikTok, and I had commented, I had made a video that was like, hey, I want to grow my circle. Like, comment people on this TikTok that you think that I would want to collab with, because I want to start YouTube. And one of the people that they commented was Mr. Slightly Salty. So that's how me and Salty met. He commented and was like, oh yeah, like we should be friends, yada yada yada. And then we just didn't talk at all again for like 3 more months, because Salty had better friends than me.
We talked in comment sections. We never DM'd. We hadn't DM'd right away. We were purely talking in like comment sections. We kept commenting on each other's videos, because me and Pancake were pretty much around the same spot on TikTok. Both of us had just hit 1,000 around the exact same time. And both of us were like, back then when we were doing content on TikTok, there was like, for Pokemon content on TikTok, there was Purple Cliff, and then like me and Pancake. There wasn't many other people doing Pokemon Nuzlocke at that time. Now you see a bunch of them, but back then it was like Purple Cliff, me and Pancake, and then our other buddy had started doing them as well. Well, he wasn't our buddy at the time. Like, we met him through TikTok as well.
Around the same time, actually. He was actually my first collab. So his name's Mason. You can still find the videos on my regular, but on my main channel, Pancake Wizard 12. But it's funny enough, like, because we got to this like point where like we were all kind of doing like our separate like things. Like, Wes, you really started with shiny hunting, and then Salty, you were like really into like battling the Nuzlocks, and I was like totally by myself. Like, I'm doing Nuzlocks by myself to grow my brand. And I was like heavily streaming at that point too, like heavily, like pulling like 20 viewers a stream on Twitch, like really going for it. And then one day I get this message from Wes after I had joined IBA, and he's like, hey, I heard from Monk that you kind of like anime. And I would love if you join this group chat with all of us, because we're going to talk about Demon Slayer. And I was like, oh yeah, hell yeah. Like, I would love to make some friends who like anime. And so we started like talking, and then the group chat started like slowly dropping out, and then it just ended up being me, West, and oh my god, I can't remember his name. Oh my god, Gizmo.
I thought you were talking about Gizmo, but I wasn't for sure.
And then West was like, hey, let's do you guys want to play Moemon? And at the time I hadn't really done any. This was my second collab series on my YouTube channel, mind you, was a 3-way versus of Heart Gold and Soul Silver Moemon, not even Pokemon, Moemon, with West and Gizmo. So not even Salty. Like, and this was like, me and Salty were talking about doing stuff for like months and months and months and months and months, but we never like solidified what we wanted to do.
I'm pretty sure y'all did something, didn't you?
No, we did our rival lock was done prior to Moemon.
No, it wasn't. Because we started Moemon, and then right after we started Moemon, BDSP came out. They were concurrent with each other, but we started Moemon before BDSP, because I remember me and Wes were talking about starting after BDSP, and I said, wait, me and Salty really want to do this BDSP series. We got to start before BDSP, or I'm not going to be able to do both these at the same time.
That might have been why it happened like that. I knew you and Salty had plans, and I was like, okay, we can start something together, and that may have been what it was. Yeah, I could have swore you and Salty done something first though.
No,
it's like that series close. Was a banger, dude.
We
so
did.
Fun.
We did.
We did.
Rival Lock started first. Yes, Rival. Okay, episode 3 of your Moemon series on Gizmo's channel went up December 3rd, 2021. Rival Lock went up November 20th, 2021. I think they started the same week.
We probably started recording Moemon way before BDSP came out. That's probably why I'm thinking.
Probably
like
what it was. Yeah.
Because we all wanted a break for BDSP, and then BDSP started was shit the bed anyways. So
Because also keep in mind, back then was when me and you were doing 2 series at once. I was sometimes doing 3 series at once.
That was a scary time in our lives. Should have never done that. That was like
I started
actually
4
awful.
series at once at one
Yeah,
point.
you did.
I was like,
I thought you was crazy.
plus I was doing
trying not to even do 2.
series. I was doing 3 series at once with an episode going on my channel at least once a week, plus Draft League.
Yeah, plus all the shorts we were trying to put out at the same time. Like that was a ridiculous like time for us to be making content. I think I made myself sick working on content back then. Like I would just get home from work and it would just be like, I'm either recording today, I'm editing today, I'm uploading footage today, or I'm recording today. Like I didn't have like any other options. But the thing about it too that sucked is I don't know about you guys, but like that burned me out so bad because we also weren't growing. Like our trajectory for our growth like plateaued so fast. Like we were outputting like 3 videos a week, but the quality of video we were putting out was so hit or miss at that point that like we were either like, oh, this video's a banger, it's doing so good in the algorithm, or it's like, man, this video has 21 views and nobody's clicking it, like it's got a 0.6% click-through rate, and that would like tank my like love for some of those series back then for sure.
I think the biggest issue at the time was me and you were growing big on short content through TikTok and stuff. TikTok was where we were growing. But we enjoyed doing long form more than we enjoyed doing short form because we got to hang out with other people and talk. Do you know how lonely it was doing TikTok content? When I was just doing TikTok content, I was so lonely, and that's what caused gaps. Because like, also it was at like loneliest time because it was when me and Pancake started growing. It was during the pandemic. I wasn't seeing my girlfriend either at the time, so like I was putting all my time into this. So like I was like super lonely. So having those collaborative content Nuzlocke was what was driving me to go. But then I started focusing too much on the collaborative content on long form Nuzlocke, and that's what caused the drought in short form and caused just halt.
Yeah, that was the hardest part. And like I get this was like way different for Wes too, because like Wes, you were like you never really got super big into the world of shorts. You were like mostly like a streamer.
Yeah, so as far as my channel, I didn't start it really until Sword and Shield. I had done stuff, never really done any good, really. I had like 100 subscribers when me and Salty started talking. They were from just like shiny reactions and stuff like that.
By the way, just for confirmation, January of 2020 is when me and you started doing content. Just wanted to throw that in there while we continue. 1 year before Scarlet and Violet released. Sword and Shield released.
Wait, what?
We posted our first Soul Link January 17th, 2020.
Sword and Shield came out in 2019, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Man, I'm like really confused. I'm like really getting thrown off.
That makes so much more sense. Okay. I don't know what happened there.
So what year did we end up starting our first January series? I want to talk about that briefly.
Well, how about we let Wes talk about his YouTube? Like he was just
you're the one who jumped
I
in.
literally said I just wanted to chime in because he started talking about when me and him first started doing content. I just wanted to chime in with that actual date.
All right. Go ahead, Wes. I'm sorry.
Because we never circled back to that earlier, so I just wanted to bring it up.
Okay, I get it. Yeah.
My apologies. Apologies. Wes, the floor is yours.
But basically, before that, I had started in like Usum, streaming, shiny hunting, pretty much just streamed. Let's Go, I kind of popped off with Let's Go. My Twitch channel blew up for Let's Go for about a month, and then it just dropped off. I had like there for a week, I had like 100 viewers a stream every day, and I was streaming every day. But after that, it just kind of died. So with Sword and Shield, I wanted to come in, and I really want to do a draft league. Then I seen Salty, and that's pretty much where we was at. With everything.
IBA was fun. IBA Draft League. IBA went on for 7 seasons plus a 1.5 season, so 8.
Mm-hmm.
We did a Little Cup season, which technically meant 9, and we did RFL, which was a randomized draft league. We did 2 seasons of that, if I'm not mistaken.
2, yeah.
I did VGC too. That didn't count as regular seasons.
Oh, IBA VGC too as well. So we had like 12 seasons in the end of IBA. Man, I didn't even realize that. IBA was actually like really good, and like the only reason that like it fell through was just because me and Wes kind of got tired. Although I started IBA, Wes quickly became like part of like IBA. RFL, which was the randomized draft league that we came up with, was a creation between me and Wes.
Just bouncing ideas.
And like within like the first like couple weeks of IBA season 1, Wes joined pretty much the administrative team, if you want to call it, of IBA. Like it was me, West, and JV.
Yeah, and then
that's a name.
Monk just handled the doc basically. Yeah, he was our secretary.
Yeah, and that's like kind of where I met everybody too. Was Salty convinced me to join the VGC season of IBA. They were looking for somebody to balance the teams, because there were some people who didn't want to do VGC because they weren't VGC fighters or battlers, I should say. And we had kind of been talking, and he knew that I kind of liked VGC. And I love VGC, like comparatively to singles. VGC, I've always been a bigger fan of doubles. And so that was like the first season that I joined. So like my first battle, there's like me and Salty did like this big thing on TikTok back in the day. Yep. Where like our first battle in VGC were the two of us together. We called it like the Battle of the TikTok Titans. It was like this thing that we like did. And then like my second fight, I think, was against West. And that was like my first real time interacting with West was like after this battle, we did like this call. And that was when me and Wes really started to chat, because I joined VGC before we did any collab. I did any collab content with them. It was really my way to test the waters with the whole group, because we would do these like debriefs after the fights.
Yeah, where we
would chat. And like that's where I like became friends with Kyogre, and that's where he became friends with like you guys and like Monk. And I would team prep with some of you guys. It was like, that was a really fun time in YouTube. But just like you guys, like I get burned out on battling really easily. Like you guys can probably tell if you're coming from our single channels and you've been watching our like cage lock content, after a certain while I get so burnt out on the battles that like if the series isn't that fun, I'm just not into it. Like, I love the series up till the final battles, and I'm just done. So IBA eventually, like, I did Little Cup, and I was like, I'm done. I was like, I'm out. And we were already into Gen Race by that point, too. What did you say, Salty?
I said Little Cup was so fun.
It was a blast, man.
Little Cup was fun.
It's kind of funny that Little Cup is one of our favorite seasons of IBA.
Yeah. It's just so different.
It was so different. So fun. Battles were so quick. It was fun. I think if I ever did Little Cup again, I think it would have to be a best 2 out of 3 just to make the videos at least a little longer, because those videos were like, the battle lasted 3 minutes, like 3-4 minutes. Somebody would set up and sweep, and like if you didn't get to set up first, you would just lose essentially. Because like all the Pokemon are weak, so like everybody has like one sweeper, and if they get it in first and they set up and then they sweep, it's over. Yeah.
Basically, if you didn't have something that perfectly countered whatever the other person was doing, you just had to stop it from being able to do that. There was a whole planning behind Little Cup. It was really cool.
Yep. I really liked it though. It was a lot of fun. It made me love Galarian Farfetch'd, which we just talked about in one of our recording sessions, which you'll see in a couple weeks. But this is also a place where we're probably going to break the fourth wall a lot. We pre-record our series, and so we have to be careful not to spoil anything. But we will probably bring things up and talk about things. And this is also a place for us to do updates and talk about like where we are in life and like what's going on and all that stuff. But we're about like 20 minutes in now, so I feel like we should continue to discuss the start of Tri Attack. because we've talked a little bit about our past. So 3 years ago, West, Salty, and I specifically came together to start doing collab content on a series that Frank and who else? Ryan, I think, did.
King Corfish.
Yeah.
Frank and King Corfish started the first variation of it called Gen Race, where the original Nuzlocke was they were racing from Gen 1 to Gen 9 in one series. And every time you beat a game, you went to the next one. If you lost in a game, you just reset to the beginning of that generation that you were in. So let's say they got to Gen 2 in Gold and Silver. If they lost in Gold and Silver, they just restarted Gold and Silver rather than going all the way back to Red and Blue. That was a good series, but also that series like ended early because it was going on forever with them. Well, from what I recall, at least, I'm not them, so I don't know. But like, watching that, it was a really cool series. So then we said we wanted to do it, but wanted to make a variation of it so it doesn't last
70 years, and we can take breaks whenever we want to.
Yeah.
That was probably like the best thing that we ever did. Not necessarily Gen Race. I'm not saying Gen Race is the best series we've done, but like Gen Race seasons 1, 2, and 3, the original like 3 seasons, like through Red and Blue, Gold and Silver, and Ruby and Sapphire. This
we
was
should probably discuss how that worked because I still hadn't gotten that.
Okay. So sure. So in Gen Race, we were essentially racing through one single generation. The person who would beat the game first got to take one of their starter Pokemon with them. And once that was done, we would start a new generation together from the beginning. I'm not going to explain all the rules. There's no reason to explain all the rules.
No, that sums it up. Each season was a region. So like each season was a region. So like Red and Blue was season 1, and I can't remember who won at the time. I think it was West that won, right?
It was West, yeah.
I won 1, 2.
West.
You won 3, 4.
And 5 never got posted.
Who knows?
But yeah, so you got to bring your starter to the next region, and it kept going like that. So we did 4 we actually technically did 5 seasons. The 5th season didn't really get uploaded.
I didn't unlist those on my channel though, so you can still watch those if you want to see the beginning of season 5. My favorite thumbnails I've ever made, by the way, are those. Loved those thumbnails. Cool. But okay, we're off topic again. So in 3 years ago, we decided to come together and create Gen Race. We started to call ourselves the Tridiots. And it was really the first time that West, Salty, and I like solidified the 3 of us as like a group. And we at that point started to make content almost exclusively together.
Yeah.
I only say that because I'm not going to go too far into detail with Roki, because we would like to bring him on and discuss Quad Squad with him here. But the Tridiots evolved into the Quad Squad, which is the 3 of us and Roki. And that kind of led itself down a path to where we kind of put the Tridiots stuff on hold for a pretty long time. We did Gen Race seasons here and there, but we never really expanded past Gen Race, mostly because Quad Squad was the place we were doing like our cage locks, and we were doing every other series that you would think of. It
was our primary focus at the time.
Exactly. And there were times where like I stepped away for a while and took a break. And then Roki, West, and Salty made content, and we can obviously like that needs a whole podcast on and of its own. But at the end of 2023, I believe we all decided to try a different way of content. That was Gen Race season 5. That completely failed because I didn't want to edit the whole thing myself. And then we took a whole almost year-long break. Like
practically.
We did not touch the YouTube channel. At least I was the last one to upload on the YouTube, but because I think it was actually Salty, but he took his episodes off. And I uploaded my last episode in like January or February of 2024. And then like 7 months later, I uploaded an update video. And then we did another 3-way Soul Link at that point, because we wanted to come back to content. We didn't know if Roki was going to come back. So we kind of revived the Tridiots brand, which we had already been kind of discussing. Do you guys want to talk about that at all?
What do you mean? Reviving the Tridiots brand?
Yeah. Like when we came back at the end of last year.
yeah, last year we decided to come back.
Yeah.
We started doing content together. We were calling ourselves the Tridiots again because, as we said, Roki stepped away. But we'll talk more about that in an episode with him, hopefully down the line soon. We should actually talk to him about that. But hopefully he's watching this and he gets the message.
Surely we've messaged him by now. If not, we're terrible friends.
Yeah. I think he was. He already said he would want to do it if it was a one-time thing. So I'm sure he would be down to chill with us for an hour and record something.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, we started doing Tridiots content again, and we started it, like Pancake said, with a 3-way Soul Link, and then we moved on to a 3-way Cage Lock. And then we topped it off with what? Actually, the 3-way Cage Lock was the last Tridiots project, because then we moved on to collaborative content, with a fourth guy being the Shady Past, because he's been a friend of ours for a while, and he really wanted to do Nuzlocke content again, and wanted to do a 4-person series with us. So we said sure, and we did 2 series with him. Both of them fell short. Both of them ended early, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think the full Red 721 is posted.
No. I have all my episodes unlisted, so
Mine too.
including the X and Y series. So.
I kept that.
A lot of our
a lot
of our unfinished is now unlisted on across our channels, but it's findable.
It's there. You can find pretty much most of the content we've done together throughout the years. There's a lot of series that we've dropped. Like West and I didn't do the whole XD series. Salty and I have dropped countless series because we've done other things instead or taken breaks. Whatever, life happens. So things come up.
Pancake and I have probably started about 7 or 8 series. Only 2 of them are fully posted and fully finished on YouTube. Fun fact.
That's another reason
But
why
I'm here
we
to
really
keep you guys in check.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Kind
why
of.
we wanted to do Try Attack.
So, like, how did Try Attack come to be? So, getting back to Tridiots before we switched to Try Attack, we kind of just realized that our YouTube channels were just carbon copies of each other because we wouldn't be posting the same episode on each of our channels, but we would each of us would have every 3rd episode on our channel. So we were like, why are we doing this rather than just taking our main channel, switching the focus on our main channel to something else and starting a collaborative channel, us 3, which is like, and all of us were talking, we're like, we're the only people that we want to be doing content with at this moment. Just because like we have a fun time together and we've been enjoying doing the content together and we have a really great communication.
A similar skill level
with us 3
as well, like as far as like, except for like a versus, Pancake kind of lags behind.
Yeah,
I thought we were
just
talking content creation. I was gonna be like, editing?
Oh no.
2 of us suck at it. One of us is pretty good.
No, I mean, but like Wes does have a point though. Like we all have a pretty similar level on how much like we want to be competitive, how good we are at playing a game. Like we know like when we're pushing each other's buttons, when to stop, when to have fun, when to like bullshit, like, and we also all know when a series isn't doing good or we're not enjoying ourselves, and we know when to pull the plug and when to try something else or do something different. And so like, it was like, I remember it was like it was towards like the end of Red 721 and we were kind of discussing like what we were going to do next. Me, Salty, and Wes were trying to figure out like what we wanted to do. We didn't know if we wanted to revive Gen Race or if we wanted to do something else. And I was like, I remember I messaged Salty because I know this is something that we had talked about. Like if West had wanted to stop doing content, which was creating a channel kind of similar to Dads Being Dudes with the 2 of us. Yeah. And I messaged Salty and I said, hey, I think this idea would still be good, but I want to do it with West. Do you think West would be down to do it? And Salty was like, I don't really know because we hadn't really talked about it with West before. And so I remember like messaging and Wes was like, I'm so down for that.
Yes. Me and Pancake were both nervous that Wes was getting ready to tell us that he was done with Pokemon content. Because also after Red 721, we were all at a point where we weren't sure if we wanted to take another break. Because at the same time as we're doing Pokemon content, we're kind of beating a dead horse. Like at this point, we keep doing the same things. We're not changing it up. And we're both we all enjoy doing content together, but we're like, it is kind of frustrating when you're not growing at all. It's somewhat frustrating. We don't do it to grow, but it is frustrating when you're putting out this content, you're putting a lot of time and work into something and it's not going. And we were all wasting our energy on 3 separate channels rather than one.
So, okay, Wes, I want to hear, we've never really talked about this before, like in detail. I want to hear, like, whenever like me and Salty like came to you with this idea, like what were your initial thoughts? Like, how are you feeling about it?
You know, we had mentioned something before, hadn't we? Like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
We had mentioned a Quad Squad channel.
Yeah, something like
Roki
that.
had brought it up, and it was something we were already talking about a little bit.
Right, and I was like, I wasn't really sure at the time. I didn't really feel like that was the direction I wanted to go. But like coming back, like my channels only ever grew when like say like a new drop for Pokemon or a new Pokemon comes out. I really cover that. Or like a shiny montage blows up or whatever. And having these episodes come out, and they're not all on my channel, they're split across 3 channels. I just felt like every time if you didn't get episode 1, you had half the views or less most of the time. Yeah. And it's like when you said that, it just made so much sense to me at the time. I'm just like, yeah, dude, why wouldn't we do that? We can, like you said, shift focus on our main channel to something like our individual channels, I should say, not main channel.
Yeah. To
something different. Like for me, I would do like shiny hunting. May do if we bring like IBA back for champions or something, I might do it on there too. And it gives us more time to edit since we're doing 2 a week with 3 people. So everybody gets like a week and a half to edit, other than the shorts and stuff. And I feel like it just made sense. It just felt right. Like we're all like really close, and yeah, I think it'll be good.
I mean, it's not wrong. We're all close, right? Like to put it just perspective, it kind of circles back to what we were talking about before, like our growing, like our upbringing on YouTube. But like in the group, me and Wes were considered the married couple.
Yeah.
So like before Pancake joined, me and Wes were considered the married couple. Like the old married couple that was always bickering. That was like our whole Soul Link thing. Was that like he was the husband and I was the wife.
And now we've got
it's so funny. It's so funny. It's so funny because then like me and Salty have like this dynamic where like one of us consistently gets washed in the series we do. Like Salty either loses badly or I lose badly, and that is like the only way we do series like at this point. Like when we did them together. And so like, but when we came in and like did that first Gen Race series, I don't know, like for me it was like something like clicked. Like we had been like doing off and on things, and like we were trying to make things work, figure out things, but when we came, like the 3 of us sat down, that was the first time when I would do a recording session and I wouldn't want it to end. Like when we sat down to do Gen Race,
I agree.
And like we would start a session and we would hit the end of episode 3, I'd be like, man, it's maybe 1 a.m. right now and I gotta go to work in the morning, but like I could do a whole nother session right now because we've
done that before too.
Well, in Gen Race, if I'm not mistaken, there was one time where we recorded 8 episodes in one night.
Yeah, literally.
And not because we had to. We weren't behind. We were just having so much fun and recorded 8 episodes in one night.
Yeah, and we got so far ahead in the series. We were like, damn, now we can't record for like 3 weeks, or we're gonna be so far ahead.
During that time was when we played Mario Kart.
It was. You're right. Yeah, you're right. And so like. We wanted to start this brand because we wanted to bring that feeling back. And from my perspective, like, so about like a month or 2 ago, we stopped posting Red 21, I think. Red 721, I would say about a month, 2 months at this point.
2 months.
And I will say this, the resurgence in my excitement for making Pokemon content and content in general, really, in the last 2 months has been like through the roof. Like, because it's been fun, like building something and like thinking again that the sky is the limit. Like, I don't know, like I was just feeling like we were plateaued hard, and I always had fun recording and always had fun making things. But I always had this like thought in the back of my head that was like, 200 people might watch this. but you're gonna lose 5 subscribers.
Yeah.
And I'd always be like so sad, like, and then I would bring that energy every week to recording sessions. Like, man, my episode last week, it got 100 views, but I didn't get a subscriber. I got no comments, and I got 1 like. Oh man, my last video got 45 views, and there's just like something about starting a new channel and like staying consistent with it for like a whole year, which is our plan, which we haven't really talked about yet, but we would like to stay consistent with this channel for a whole year. That's a single podcast every month, unless you guys are loving these things. And then we'll maybe try to do them twice a month, depending on if we have time. And then we're going to try to post every Wednesday and every Saturday for the entirety of the year up until June of 2026. And if we can do that, reevaluate where we're at, if we're growing, and if we're not growing but we still want to continue it, then we might shift focus and do something else. But for now, you should subscribe because we're stuck.
Yeah. It's kind of like a 1-year test trial of doing this. We're going to have the monthly podcast, maybe twice a month if it does well. The Nuzlocke content, the shorts. We really want to try to keep shorts daily. If we ever find that daily is not possible, we're going to take like the weekends off potentially and just do Monday to Friday. But we highly think that daily shorts are going to be possible. Who knows? There might be a day or two that we miss. 90% of the time, if that happens, it's honestly probably because I forgot to schedule an upload rather than the content's not there. Because the amount of times that I have missed an episode because I forgot to upload it rather than I didn't edit it yet is like astronomical.
It's constant. And so like going into this, we also gave ourselves like specific jobs, which is something that we hadn't done before. And like it was kind of a way for us to share, but also like have accountability for what we're doing on the channel. So like I'm going to be the main podcast editor. I'm also the person who edits all of our intros and the channel intro that you saw on Friday. If you haven't watched that, go check that out. And I'm also the person who handles like all of our graphics, logo redesigns, that kind of stuff. Salty is going to handle all the posting of our shorts. He's also editing our shorts, and probably any of the like back admin stuff, whether that be like our, like what a bunch of our sheets, our forms, things that we come up with.
Yeah. Google Docs and stuff. Google Docs. And then, I'm going to be making half the short form content. The other half is going to be with West. All of us are going to rotate the long form Nuzlocks.
Yeah.
Like whoever hosts that episode, it's them that edited it most likely. Now, with the other reason with Try Attack is it allows us that like if one of us is busy or just like has too much going on in life, we can pass the editing on to another person and just be like, hey, I'll pick up your episode in a couple weeks when I have more free time. And that very probable that that's coming soon because I move next month. So
are we gonna have another? We should record one more episode with you in this house.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'll say before. It's gonna have to. So funny enough, the next episode too that comes out is gonna be on my birthday. So the day that our next podcast episode comes out, I'll turn 28.
So everybody, I should say that next podcast.
Yeah, we'll say it in the next one. But yeah, and then like also for like back to the jobs as well. Just because we never really talked about West. Wes is gonna be doing the other half of the shorts, the long form Nuzlocks. He's taking charge of creating all of our accounts as well, right? You created our YouTube.
I can. I haven't done the TikTok yet, but you guys got access to that, right? Like everything went good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Technically, he gets like our main like admin guy, and like if we ever make a website, I'd probably make Wes do it too.
Yeah. I can do that.
In charge of our merch, that kind of stuff. But it's kind of just a way for us to like be to be helpful and like so it doesn't feel like one person is doing like so much more of the work. Like currently, because we're like in like the prep period, like my workload is like insane because I'm doing all this stuff for the prep of the of the launch. But then like as soon as we hit like this weekend, what you're watching this, like my workload will dip down tremendously. Until we're like starting to prep another series and I have to make a layout and graphics and intros. And that's kind of why I picked up to edit the podcast once a month as well, because I figured as soon as the intro stuff is done, I'll have more than enough time to be in charge of podcast shorts and the podcast.
I actually forgot that you were doing that. I honestly thought it was whoever was hosting was editing it.
No. I'm gonna edit the podcast every time.
I kind of forgot that you were editing all the podcasts.
Well, I'm not editing. So I'm not editing any of like the extra shorts. So like there will be shorts that you guys will see that won't be a part of our series and they won't be a part of the podcast. There are things that we're recording separately and I won't be editing those at all. Those are going to be those are what Wes and Salty mean by the shorts that they're editing are these separate videos so that we can get them out every single day.
Yeah. Also, just to expand upon that, like exactly what do we mean by that? So like any day that there's an episode of a Nuzlocke, you're going to see a short that's going to be of the intro moment or another funny moment from that episode is going to be turned into a short posted on the same day. On the day of the podcast, you're going to see a short of the podcast, either the funniest moment or just like a cool moment from the podcast posted on that day. The other days, those type of videos could also be posted on those days too, if we have extra ones from, like if we get 3 from one podcast or 3 from one Nuzlocke video, we might post those on other days as well. But also on those other days, you're going to see more like funny / challenge video shorts, like us playing like categories or guess who and stuff like that. So those you're going to start seeing as of tomorrow because tomorrow's our first day without any sort of long form and the short forms are going to be coming.
All right. So it's been like 40 some minutes. We've just been talking about the launch of TriTech. We talked about like why, the how, the what we're doing, the future, and we'll probably have a little bit of this in every single podcast. We tend to like to talk about ourselves, so that'll happen a lot. But you know, Wes, you went out and this week and you got the Switch 2.
Yes.
And I want to talk about this a little bit before we end the podcast today, and because I want to branch away from talking about us. And Salty and I haven't got the Switch 2 yet, whether that be because Salty's moving or just because I don't really feel like buying it until a game comes out that I really want to play. So why don't you tell us about your experience with this thing? Because I want to hear like a hands-on experience before we talk about it.
Okay, so the first day, of course, played Mario Kart with the girls. The main reason I got it is because the girls really wanted to play Mario Kart. And I was like, I really want it for the ZA. Like, let's just get it. Go ahead and get it. We played Mario Kart for hours. It is a blast. I mean, it's always so fun when the new Mario Kart comes out. You know how it is. But I streamed that night, and I played Scarlet. And I would say if you haven't played Pokemon Scarlet or Violet, wait for the Switch 2. I mean, it is a night and day difference. It's that good, bro. There's no lag whatsoever. I never even realized it lags when you go on to Koraidon or Miraidon. Never realized it did that. It's just instant. It's seamless. It's going into battle. It doesn't pause at all when you encounter a Pokemon. It goes right into it.
That's wild. That's insane.
I counted, there's like 30 Pokemon on screen at a time, and they're so far away from you, you can see them interacting with the environment. Never could have seen it before because the spawn radius is so small.
Yeah.
The textures and shit, it's still bad. They didn't do anything there. It still looks ugly and it's actually more jarring because you can see them
from farther away.
Easy, yeah. You know the windmill in the grass town. You know how it's choppy. Yeah. It doesn't chop at all. I went freaking all the way to the other end of the map to where the ocean started. I could still see the windmill still moving perfectly.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's actually, I mean, surprising that it's that big of a difference.
That's as somebody who made that long ass review video of Scarlet and Violet and literally shit on it for like over an hour. I feel like I need to play it. I'm like, whether I stream it or what, that sounds really good. That sounds awesome.
I wouldn't say it was an hour of just shitting on it. You had a very beautiful message in that video. If you haven't seen that video, we're gonna link that in the description.
It's a banger
because that needs to be watched. That is my favorite video Pancake has made to this day.
I agree.
And that's saying something because I enjoy the vlogs that he makes too.
Wow.
Now,
I like it.
But yeah, that was such a. I started tearing up at moments just because of the storytelling.
Yeah.
you think it was that good?
It was really good. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, the music and the voice seamless, was so good together.
I should
It
watch
was
that
beautiful.
again. I should watch that again and get
You
inspired
should
to do
watch
another
that
one.
again.
Yeah. So even games that didn't get the update, like say like BDSP, open up BDSP. You know how it takes like 20 seconds to get into the game? It took like 3 seconds to get into the game.
Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I did a soft reset just to see, because I was doing soft resets like a couple days before that, and it felt so much faster. I was like, okay, even this is faster, which I figured it would be because all you're doing is loading the game, and that's why it's taking so long. I'd say nothing else would really make a difference. I never really tried. I didn't try Animal Crossing. I know people have lag on Animal Crossing if they have too many items on the island. I never tried that because I lost my island like a year back when I got my OLED because I forgot to migrate it. So
I've heard a lot of people are saying Animal Crossing you load in like 25 seconds earlier now.
Yeah,
It used to take a minute and a half to boot into the game, like for the game to boot, plus you to get through the start menu, plus to load into the island. Used to take like a minute and a half. Now it takes like 50 seconds. 45, 50 seconds.
So
That's
games
crazy.
that didn't get updates, it's mostly the loading that's a lot faster, even like, you know, from one area to the next. And loading on Scarlet and Violet, going from an island to another island, in like the DLC islands, used to take like 20 seconds. It's down to 3 on the Switch too. Like it's fast, bro. It feels so different.
You know, I'm like kind of disappointed though with like the actual like launch titles for the Switch 2. I don't know about you guys, like I love when, don't get me wrong, like Mario Kart is like such a banger game. No matter when you get it, no matter what you're playing it on, Mario Kart's always a good game. But like, man, like you got Cyberpunk and like it's impressive that these games are running like on this console, but like a lot of the good games don't come out for a couple of months. Like Donkey Kong doesn't come out to like July, right? And like we're waiting on these games.
I agree.
Here's my thing with a new console launch in today's day and age. You don't need 20,000 games to launch with the console because people are already dropping $800 now on the $800 in Canada, like $600 for you guys, 5-6.
It was $550.
Yeah, $550.
With
and
tax.
I'm saying 8. It's like 7. It's like $700 here with tax. So it costs you $550 for the thing. That's already a lot of money in today's day and age. Not the average salary cannot afford to go get that plus like $200 games. So I don't really see a point in having a lot of launch titles anymore because back in the day, people used to have game collections of 30 physical games, if not 50. Now people have like 7.
Yeah.
Still have that.
Other than people that really like their Steam, right? People with massive Steam libraries, Steam just feels like something you can easily get a bunch of games racked up on because they go on sale all the time. They're easy to get. There's no
But it's also
charging for memberships.
Their Steam libraries aren't filled with $80 games.
Yeah, they're
filled
mostly
with
indie
13
stuff. Yeah.
and 5 and 18. And Nintendo's doing a really good job with getting indie games on their platform as well lately. Like there's an entire indie section on the Nintendo store.
I'm just more upset that like when the Switch 1 came out, like Breath of the Wild came out with the Switch 1. And don't get me wrong, like Tears of the Kingdom just came out like not too long ago and like all this stuff. But like I don't know, I feel like there could have been at least like one
like a Twilight Princess remake or at least or something.
Or like even just like something like new that like maybe that could have wowed everyone. Like the Donkey Kong game.
Well, I mean,
I feel
that
like
could have just came out
Metroid-
with the launch. Yeah, or like
but it comes out next month. I think they're trying to space that out so people have time
I think
to play
they
and
are.
enjoy the new Mario
I think
Kart.
they are.
And then ZA in October and stuff. I think Nintendo's trying to focus on continuously getting people playing rather than people just like blowing the load right when the gate console releases.
I was gonna ask Wes
so-
how like how like the new Switch feels compared to the old one because I haven't even got to hold one up, but obviously he's not here. He's muted.
Oh, he'll talk about
Yeah.
that in a second.
I'm
But
here.
like for games wise, okay. So talk about how the feel is.
Like the actual feel, like in hand feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I really have mostly had it docked, but it's a lot bigger. The magnets super strong. Like I was pulling on them, pretty tough. And the buttons, what they do is they just break that flat connection. You know how magnets work. Like once you break that flat connection, they're easy to take apart. That's all that button does. It doesn't actually disable the magnets or anything.
That's awesome.
It just works. It's a lot bigger than the Steam Deck too. The screen is really nice. A lot of people said they like it better than the OLED screen. It's the brightness is nice, but the darks still aren't there because it's not an OLED. Okay. Because it has the HDR screen, right? It's got the nice brights, but it's missing those darks like the OLED has.
100% the OLED's going to come out. The OLED version's going to be
They'll have an OLED in like 2 years.
Absolutely.
They'll probably do a light version first because they want to get more people in. And also, I think that's another reason why Donkey Kong's a month out. I think there's going to be another big wave or two of Switch 2s out there.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're trying to space out the waves of the Switch 2 like they did with the Wii back in the day.
That's my thing, too.
They're larger waves.
Like
too,
with the
they're a lot larger.
Small.
Like
and what happened like with like the economy and stuff with like all the drops and like people like the tariffs and everything. Like I'm sure, like I'm honestly thinking like, oh, Donkey Kong or something probably would have come out with the launch, but because of everything that happened, they weren't sure how many Switches they were going to be able to get out to America, and they probably wanted to save some of these games and some of these things that they would have launched for later after things solidify and calm down. So that's one of my thoughts.
I think the reason that there's not so many day one launches as well is because I still think the Switch 2 was supposed to come out 1 to 2 years ago.
I do too.
Oh, yeah.
I think with Scarlet Violet.
Because Nintendo like released the launch date very last second. They only announced it like 3 months ago?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like on April Fools or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I think Nintendo made sure that there was games getting released sporadically. That way, whenever they decided to release the Switch 2, there was games coming.
Yeah. So, I don't know if you guys noticed with the boxes, but let's see, mine has the Mario Kart, like, actually on the box.
Yeah.
A lot of people's had stickers, and their seals were broke. And Nintendo actually put download codes. They actually converted a lot of their ones that were just supposed to be regular Switches to Mario Kart bundles because it was so popular.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Mine,
makes a lot you just connected online and it started downloading. Like it was really seamless. Other people had to enter a code.
That's awesome. That's crazy.
I 100% think that there's going to be a lot more Mario Kart bundles coming in the future.
Oh yeah.
No one wants to
like
pay $80 for
like
that.
GameStop, like Black Friday, like it'll be like the biggest thing that's going to get sold. And there's going to be another wave of like, they're going to pre-order Black Friday bundles probably at GameStop and all the stuff that they always do.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy.
And now going from talking about Wes's opinion of the Switch 2 and him enjoying it, let's talk about why me and Pancake currently don't have one. So as Pancake kind of mentioned earlier, I'm currently moving. This is kind of like this is going to be the first video that's posted that really actually explains what's going on besides the one that I posted on my channel on Friday. But me and my fiance just bought a house, so we're going to be moving. So a lot of money going into a house, so don't really have that extra finance to buy the Switch right now. But I do plan on getting it by the latest little time that ZA comes out. But it also depends, because like in August, there's a chance I might have to pay both rent and mortgage. If that doesn't happen, and I don't have to pay rent, then I'm probably picking up a Switch 2 in August. Because I really want to play Mario Kart.
It's really good.
My goal is to have a Switch 2 by ZA, but watching the videos of Mario Kart, I really want to play it. Amanda likes Mario Kart 2. She's seeing the video. She saw that you could play as a cow and a dolphin and a penguin, and her immediate reaction to me was, I want to play as a penguin.
Chloe's like, I need to play as the Moo Moo Meadows cow, man. I gotta play as...
Exactly. So like me and Amanda had already previously discussed that like our gift to each other for Christmas this year would be getting the Switch together, the Switch 2. So like that's for sure happening. It's just when it happens will depend on when I have that spare cash. I would have 100% gotten it in June if I wasn't planning on moving this year. Because at the time that it released, I wasn't 100% that I was moving next month, but now it 100% is. Everything sold, all the documents are signed. I just have the notary on July 11th, and I'm good. So that's why I'm not getting a Switch 2 at the moment. It's just because like finances.
Yeah.
It.
So subscribe so Salty can get a Switch 2.
Yeah, subscribe so we can get a TriTac Switch 2. Then we'll ship it around to each other, and then. So I didn't get a Switch 2. Mostly, I mean, my biggest thing was because I haven't really been playing my Switch all that much, and I didn't think, for me right this second, because like Salty wasn't getting one, and my Noah, who we talked about, he wasn't getting one either, and with it just being Mario Kart coming out right now, I was like, I just don't feel as though I want to justify $550 to save and buy this console right this second. Now, with that being said, there are a lot of things I want to get the console for, but the biggest one is absolutely Pokemon. Just like Salty, by the time Legends ZA comes out, I will absolutely be getting a Switch 2, so that we can stream all together that first weekend. I want to have a podcast that's about Legends ZA. I want us to be able to like all be able to digest the game, and plus, obviously, I love Pokemon, so I'm gonna get a Switch 2 to play the new Pokemon game. But I probably will also be moving myself around the fall, so I'm hoping that I can kind of roll the Switch 2 into my fall expenses, so that doesn't hit me super hard come like October when the game comes out. But so there's a chance I might end up getting the Switch early as well, just so that I don't have to worry about that payment as much, depending on like when I have the money. If you guys didn't know, I also have a second or a third or fifth 17th channel, where I vlog. And so a lot of my like extra cash lately has been going to like getting new camera gear, or like, I had to get a new computer recently for editing, cause this one was like shitting the bed. And so a lot of my money hasn't been going to video games. So when I found out that Pokemon wasn't releasing till October, I was like, I think I could probably wait till October to get the Switch 2. I don't really think I need it yet. But man, watching people play Mario Kart, like Smitty and the Vanos crew, and like watching them like play and like have fun, I'm like, man, I gotta get this game. Because we have talked about, so like to break the fourth wall, this whole thing's breaking the fourth wall. But Wes, Salty, and I used to kind of hold these like game nights. We have a whole Discord channel about it that Wes created called the Collab Squad. It started in a thing that Salty had made way back when. But we used to play Mario Kart like way back in the day together. We used to play, we did like probably four streams of Mario Kart. We played Pokemon Unite. We did a bunch of stuff together. And so another big thing for TriTac, not to go full circle before we come back to this, was we want to like host game nights again. And whether we stream them on this channel and it becomes a part of this, and like we stream them all on our main channels or our other channels, and then we record those as well, and then make that into video content that you guys can watch after the fact. We haven't really decided, but I think like once we all have the Switch 2, like, and we can play the new Mario Kart game, and we all have all the Mario parties, and I have a feeling that we're gonna be like playing so many other games besides Pokemon. It's not even gonna be funny.
Yeah,
especially for live streams. Yeah,
do a TriTac
live streams, and who knows, dark. Live streams can turn. Live streams could turn into like special one-off videos. They could get condensed into special one-off videos if we feel that it works as that. We'll see. Funny moment videos could come from live streams. We'll see. That's some more editing, so we'll see who gets that.
Probably me.
I mean, we can't. I feel like those would have to get like split up, like.
Or like if we wanted to do it, if we wanted to do that, then the series episodes would just have to go to you guys, and then I would just have like that video to edit, and you guys would edit the series while like I was working on that video. That's probably what would make more sense for that stuff.
That would be fair. That'd be fair.
All right, so we are about to hit an hour on my timer, which means we're kind of encroaching upon the end of this podcast. And so I really just want to ask one more question. I want to like just delve into this just a little bit before we end. And is, how do you guys feel about like the future of Pokemon on the Switch 2? Because like obviously we saw the announcement for Pokemon Champions, which seems to take all the gimmicks that we've seen in like a Pokemon Showdown style way, but in like a real Pokemon game. We don't have a whole lot of details yet, but it seems like it's going to be like Pokemon's way of creating a battle simulator, which, I mean, I'm kind of talking through my butt here because I don't really know for sure. But then they're also changing for the first time in a quote unquote main series Pokemon game, the battle mechanics for Legends ZA as well. But it's also a battle focused game. So what do you guys think? Like, how do you think that both of those things are going to impact the future of Pokemon, like Generation 10?
I think Pokemon at its core, the regular generational games, will stay obviously turn-based. I think they're experimenting with like Legends ZA, see if they want to bring the Legends games in a different way, because no one liked the battle in Legends Arceus. It was a poor, what's it called? Adaptation of like the Final Fantasy style battle system. Really poor adaptation of that.
Very random base, and not much like, there was no skill to figuring out when you were going to attack. It was very like,
not much. Yeah. And whenever they sent out a new mon, they could just attack immediately. And that's not really how it should be.
No.
But like, that's the only difficulty that the game added. Like, it was just the impossible counterattacks, you know? So yeah, I think it'll stay turn-based. I don't think there's any danger in that changing. I think Champions, hopefully, they're definitely going to make you have the Pokemon, I think. But I'm hoping they just let you alter their stats in any way you like and not actually bother the physical Pokemon.
I'm hoping you'll just have to complete your Pokedex in Champions, and then you unlock that Pokemon to be used any way you like. Now, in doing that, though, you are limiting, because it's going to be a mobile and a Switch 2 game, so you're kind of limiting your mobile players who don't necessarily have a Switch. They could get the Pokemon through Pokemon Go, but it's also a lot harder to get your Pokemon through Pokemon Go.
Yeah, it's probably just how they'll do it, or they'll sell Pokemon in Pokemon packs. I'm wondering, like, are they going to have,
there's definitely going to be some monetization, yeah.
Yeah, like, I could see them doing, like, TCG Pocket, Pokemon pools, you buy a thing, you swipe on the screen, you get these Pokemon, or you can get them in a game, or you can catch them and go. But it won't get us, because we'll play the games and we'll get the mons. But that's how they're going to get the mobile people, is they're going to say, you can get these faster if you buy, because think about how they did Unite. Like, they, like, sold Pokemon costumes and did all that stuff, and like I have a feeling they're gonna really capitalize on mobile with gacha stuff.
I hope we get some trainer customization. Like, I hope that's like the majority of their money making on monetization.
That's what I'm hoping too. I'm hoping I'm not gonna see, like, if you don't get the Pokemon, or if this is just the only way, and I would hate this, is like everything is monetary. You'll get like 5 coins a day that you could spend on buying Pokemon and like unlocking abilities or hidden abilities or moves or TMs and stuff. I'm afraid that that's how the game's going to be, that everything is going to be monetary. I'm hoping if that is the case like that, they'll also make it where if you get the Pokemon in game and transfer it, then you get everything for free. But if you don't have the Pokemon, then you're going to have to buy it.
Yeah.
That's what my fear is. I'm really hoping it's not going to be too cash grabby like that. I'm just hoping it's optimized well, and it's going to be not. I'm just hoping it's a well optimized game that's not too cash grabby, that regular casual gamers can get on there to get a feel for competitive battling, because Pokemon Champions has the perfect chance to not only reopen competitive Pokemon battling to everybody, but also draft leagues will boom as well again once that releases. And you'll just have so many casual players just getting interested in competitive.
Like, I think for me, like, what I'm expecting it to happen is if Champions, I'm with West. I don't think that that the game is that Pokemon Generation 10 is going to be Legends ZA battling, unless like it blows up and everybody loves it so much that they decide. But for at least for Generation 10, don't expect that to be the case. But what I do expect is I kind of expect Champions to be the place where like Pokemon goes when it needs like a break. So like I think that Generation 10 will bring a new gimmick. Whatever that looks like, who knows at this point? We can't really guess. And I think that Generation 10 will only have that gimmick, do whatever it wants. And then once Generation 10, once the competitive circuit is done, like in Generation 10, I fully believe that like they'll just update Pokemon Champions, bring that gimmick over to Champions, and then bring in the new Pokemon. And then the next season of next couple seasons of the game, they're just all on Pokemon Champions. And then Generation 11 comes out, the first full seasons in the new game, just like every other Pokemon. Then does it again and again and again, giving them a space to like transition the competitive battle scene over to, so that like the main series game isn't like holding with the main, because they can like hot swap like and do quick fixes and quick patches. Like if a Pokemon's busted, they can change Intimidate in Champions, and then the regular game they could do whatever they want to because they're not tied down by the competitive scene. They could have a bunch of fun with the abilities in the main series game and then say, oh, but in Champions, like we're going to nerf these a little bit and make them a little bit different so that they're less broken when you're battling like here. But like in the main game, like Intimidate could be something crazy in the next game. Who knows?
Yeah. Champions is going to be your Nat Dex.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
We're not going to get Nat Dex in Pokemon anymore. There's over 1,000 Pokemon. To think that it's even possible is just horrendous. Like, them to remodel every Pokemon in every game, because I think Champions is not going to follow the same graphical style as all the other games. I think they're honestly going to go back to maybe like LGPE graphics in Pokemon Champions. I can honestly see that being that Pokemon Champions is going to be completely different artistically than Gen 10.
I can see them
is
doing
going to
like
go a bit more
Coliseum,
realistic.
too.
Exactly. Gen 10 is going to be a bit more realistic, where I think Pokemon Champions is going to be more like the classical look. Like the polished look, but like very one color rather than looking overly realistic.
Yeah.
And I kind of hope that is the case. And I think you're right, Pancake. I think like when Gen 10 releases, we're only going to see the Gen 10 Pokemon in Champions 1 year later. We're going to have 1 year of Gen 10. And then I think the DLC is going to start getting released sooner. I think Gen 10 is going to release within the first 6 months. We're going to see the first DLC. We're going to see a second deal. Like we're going to see a DLC at 6 months, a DLC at month 9. And then we're going to see everything get shifted back to Champions. And the part I like about that is every regulation, not only could it have different Pokemon, but it could have a different gimmick.
Yeah, this generation it would be so good. Like it'll be so like refreshing to be like, oh yeah, this like for this season we're gonna only have megas. Like you can only use megas. We're locking legends. You can. I'm excited. I'm for the competitive scene itself. That like, and if it would make it so like we won't have to breed our Pokemon to like go compete in like an actual tournament, like that would open up the whole, like, okay, let's say like you have to breed, you have to do X, Y, and Z while the game is on Generation 10. Okay, maybe you have to breed, maybe you have to do this, maybe you have to go the normal routes. But when it goes back to Champions, that would open up the realm of people who don't have time to breed and do things to be in these tournaments and like actually like battle, and that might get them interested in breeding and making their own teams and doing X, Y, and Z. So I'm excited for that aspect. But I'm also like excited for like a place for if we do our like cage locks through like Fire Red Leaf Green, like who's to say we can't like do our actual battles in Champions?
Hell.
Like, because like rather than like doing it on Showdown, and it'll look better. It'll be more fun for us. So like I think like,
but it'll also depend though if Champions is going to allow us to have illegal movesets.
Well, it depends on how easy it is to get it outside of the Switch.
But we also don't know that, yes, West. Like, they could make a Hackmons.
We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. I doubt it.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see what that looks like, and like how it can be swayed and changed depending on like when it comes out and how hard the code is and all that stuff to break. But Nintendo, we're not going to do anything wrong, I promise. We are just humble patrons of your games.
But it could also open the door for vanilla cage locks to come back. Maybe you randomize the Pokemon in the wild, but you don't randomize TMs. Don't randomize everything else. Maybe you shuffle the TMs where they'll be rearranged so you get them at random times.
That would be wild. I haven't played a vanilla Pokemon game in so long. That would be
no
wild.
random abilities, no random moves, none of that. Everything is normal. Just the Pokemon are shuffled and the TMs are shuffled. And the items are shuffled.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll pick this up in a podcast to come. It's running a little bit long in the tooth here, and I want people to actually listen or watch this whole thing if they want to.
Yeah.
For at least the first one, we wanted to keep it around an hour. All of them are probably going to be around an hour 30 max. But we wanted the first one to stay as short as possible, just so people can actually get a feel for what it is and not just be immediately turned off by the length.
I do want to say one thing before we go. You saying that, Salty, gave me the idea of what if we did a Gen Race series, but we had to do a hardcore vanilla run of a game.
Do we still randomize the Pokemon or not randomize them now?
No, you don't. No randomize. We could randomize like items and TMs, but all the Pokemon we get are the same Pokemon, and we are doing a vanilla run of the game through like Fire Red or something.
Yeah,
could be interesting.
Maybe not Gen Race, but maybe a versus separate from Gen Race. Just because like if we do it in Gen Race, we're gonna want to keep that the entire way through. But I would be down to do a versus like that.
Spin a wheel at the beginning to see who gets to pick their starter first. Because
none of us can choose the same starter.
Yeah, because we can't pick the same starter, but like everything, like so that way, like someone's gonna get the worst starter option for the game.
There is no bad starter option in
especially if we're in Fire Red Leaf Green, there's really not, because like you encounter a decent amount of things that could beat Brock before you go battle him, and technically
every one of them is good.
Yeah,
because you got Metal Claw.
But like we could also like roll for it would technically like a roll for initiative, and then but if you get the best starter, like say you get Bulbasaur, because it helps you can't move for like a few minutes, like you're stuck. Because you could essentially wash the first couple gyms with just Bulbasaur. But if you get like Charmander, like you're gonna have to probably catch some stuff along the way and like make sure you're like really building out your team so that you can beat Brock and Misty.
Yeah, I mean Charmander's better later on though.
Yeah. It is, yeah.
But yeah.
You saying roll for initiative has got my gears turning about like a D&D like Nuzlocke.
I'd be down for that.
A Nuzlocke.
All right.
Collaborative Nuzlocke or D&D rules.
We will pick this up in the next podcast.
I'm gonna have to brainstorm this idea.
We got our next Let's Play coming up, boys.
If you guys did enjoy yourself, make sure to like button. Make sure you sub into TriTac as well as the rest of our channels as well. They'll be linked below. I don't know what we're going to be up to in the coming months, because this is kind of our focus, especially as Salty moves, and we're kind of shifting gears into getting more comfortable with this series. But make sure you're subbing to all of our normal channels as well. And we'll catch you back here. Make sure you're here Wednesday for the next episode of the series, and next month for the next podcast. You guys have anything left to say?
Stay salty.
There it is. Love you guys.
See you guys next time.
Bye.
Stay salty.